right, everybody, what's going on? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. Testing out a whole new setup, OBS this time. I got my coffee with accidentally way too much Kahlua in it, so this should be interesting. But yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me okay, if it's too loud, too quiet, whatever it might be. I'd appreciate it. That way I know if all this is for nothing. Looks like the chat's getting a little cut off there. Let me see if I can fix that. Got his coffee. You know me too well. I did put something in there. A little too much, honestly. All good. All right, good. How about this? How about a little background tunes? There we go. Hopefully that's not going to be too loud. Here, let's see. There we go. Perfect. So thank you everybody for joining me in this live stream. This one is a little bit more special to me than the previous because today is actually the birthday of this channel, the second birthday of this channel. Time flies when you're having fun. And the reason why that's interesting, or even remotely interesting, at least to me, is because the first video on this channel was a tutorial for the Voxelab Aquila. So kind of wrapping things up here with another Aquila video. And this time it's unboxing and checking out this Voxelab D1. I'm assuming most of you that are in here or watching are interested in this machine. And if not, well, hopefully, we'll see what it's all about in this video. But yeah, the D1 is actually really interesting because it seems to be, at least on paper, everything that we've kind of been asking for from an Aquila. And I'm assuming they've been watching us, over these years, modifying our machines and repeatedly asking for these modifications, right? So if we kind of spin this machine around here, there we go, there's a little teaser. Here, let's bring it. Wow, it'll slide off the table. But essentially we have linear rails, we have dual Z's, we have a PI spring sheet. It's now a direct drive instead of a Bowden. It goes to 300C. It's literally on paper everything that we've asked for. In fact, even the screen is touch screen, and we'll see what the menus on there are like. But technically, this should be not only the most advanced Aquila, but also one that everyone has technically been asking for. If you guys go into any of the Facebook groups, into their Discords, into their Reddit posts, into the Voxelab Aquila posts, you will see how people modify their Voxelab Aquilas, and technically, they make this. Maybe not all the way down to the Z's, but the people that do get linear rails, for example, do really love them, and they're loud about it online. So it looks like they've literally taken everything that we've asked for and given it to us in a machine. Now the price tag's right around $400. If this was about a year ago, I would say this is super fair. Right now, at least in my mind, I think this might be a little bit on the high end, especially with all of the type of machines and all the different machines that are coming out from all sorts of different manufacturers. However, with that said, the machines that are priced a little bit lower than this don't quite have the spec sheet. So we'll see how this performs. If this thing gets out of the box really easy, it's easy to assemble, everything prints perfectly out of the box, it's going to be easy to recommend. So hopefully Voxelab nails it right on the head with this machine, and I'm really excited for it. So let's see what some of you guys are saying. And now I realize that I put a clear background behind the chat, and that makes it harder for me to read. So that's fantastic. But let me go into YouTube here and see if I can connect with some of you guys. Can hear just fine. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. The First Layer Productions says, I bought my Aquila pretty much because of your channel, and it's the only printer I've ever had. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad I could help in some way, and I've definitely had a ton of content. Hopefully that's in some way, helped you out. Happy to hear it, man. Glad that I was a part of that. Yeah, same. Got into 3D printing and Aquila because of 3D Print SOS. Hey, 3D Print SOS gang. Excited for you. Hey, Mr. Green Elite, what's going on, buddy? So there's one kind of chip for it. So yeah, as far as I understand, and I'm not 100% sure It does have an H32 chip, or is it an N32? Excuse me, N32, not H32, N32 specifically. And they're calling everything open source. Everything's available. So technically speaking, you should be able to just freely put on different kinds of firmware, whatever, of course, works with the board. But at least that's technically it. Now, however, the speed bump there would be the screen. Since it's a touch screen, touchscreens always kind of limit you what you can do with firmware. However, you don't even need to have a screen nowadays on a printer, depending on how and what you want to modify in your machine. So yeah, can't wait to see this in action. Yeah, me too. I think we should just jump right in, and get this thing unboxed and working while we chat together here. This time last year, you helped me lead through this journey of 3D printing. Really appreciate it. JJ Haddix. Hey, that's awesome to hear. I hear this a lot now, and it's like humbling. I don't even know how to really react when people tell me, thank you for letting me know, and I truly appreciate hearing it. And it just, it makes me kind of want to keep going. So appreciate that. Is this the same Aquila company that makes boats? No, I don't think so. There is a lot of boat-related stuff, and maybe you can print some boats on it, but no, not that same company. All right, I'm gonna go back here to my view so I can skip through the lag, and I'll come back to the chat. You guys keep talking to me. Also, I have another new filament here by 3D Max. This time it is, trying to get the official name here, light pink, another great color. As you can see here, there's so many colors. If you go on their website right now at 3D Max, the color selection is just insane. And if you go to my channel, go to the community tab, there's a link there to a year-end discount, 15% off, I believe. So click that link and get yourself some filament. Really good deals on the stuff. It's awesome. And I have other colors to pick from. So when it comes time to print with this machine, hopefully we'll at least start something today. We'll be using this. All right. So now that I've tripped over everything that I have down here, let me take the last sip before we start unboxing this thing, huh? All right. I got my tools. I got my blade. Let me go ahead and put my spiked coffee down here so I don't spill it. Now, the camera is going to shake a little bit as I unbox things. My apologies. It's just what we're going to have to deal with while I'm still on this table on this particular setup. But one thing to note, unlike a lot of other Aquilas, now there is a whole ton of them, unlike the Pro, for example, that comes mostly assembled. I think the S2 comes mostly assembled, if I recall correctly there. This is a mostly assembled machine. Just judging by the size of this box, we're going to have a bottom plate, and kind of the whole gantry system is going to go on the top. So we'll see how that is. What is your favorite type of filament? For all types, PLA, PETG. I mean, PLA is just so easy to print. 3D Max PLA is my go-to. As far as PETG, I've been printing a lot more of it lately. I've been using California filament for PETG, although 3D Max has a ton of it as well. TPU has been great. All three of those are kind of my go-to because they're just so easy to print. You can print them on pretty much any machine. You don't need anything special. But I definitely do also print with ABS if I need something for outdoors, some carbon fiber. Love some carbon fiber nylon, but you need some special hardware for those. So typically, I just stick with the basics, at least for now. So far, the packaging is kind of interesting. It has these plastic corners here. That's always nice to see. All right, we're treated with a little box at the top here. 2 boxes at the top. Let's see what's inside here. Is your hoodie available for purchase? Yes, it is. That, and along with some shirts. I have green. I have these blue shirts available. I think black is not, because this was from a different brand. Yeah, I think it's just the blue ones at the moment. I think if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to the store tab at the top, you can go to the shirts there. So yeah. Oh, okay, so this was labeled accessory kit here. This looks like it's the hot end. So let's go ahead and check that out. And actually, I went ahead and got another camera. Let's go ahead and test that right now, actually. So this camera is much better at close-ups. I know it's actually going to cover my face, but let's check it out. So essentially I brought this camera here so that once the printer is up and running, I can put it closer to prints and such. We can check it out. Actually, this is going to get annoying. Let's go back to this. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so we got a nice, kind of heavy, but very nice feeling cover. I like that this is kind of a completely custom look and not just a copy from someone else. This might look familiar to some of you that have a Creality machine. It looks like they took a ton of inspiration from the Sprite extruder. Looks like on the side here we have a leveling sensor. Everything looks so compact on this. Wow, the cooling fan is actually the flat pancake kind, and there is kind of a duct going to its own heating cooling system here that goes all the way through. Really interesting design. So yeah, we have a sister board that a lot of manufacturers are doing now. Makes everything nice and compact. This is not the heaviest thing I've ever held, actually. Nice big old lever at the top here. I actually like this nice little smooth inlet here. It's not plastic, it's metal. Really interesting. This, you can tell they put in some thought. Although, we all remember where this idea is from, and no one really likes it. I guess we'll see how it performs here. It does look like the fan would just blow directly where we need to. Let's go ahead and peel this back and see what nozzle we got on here. At least visually at the moment, it does look like we have a standard MK8 style nozzle. It does, however, look kind of interesting. I don't know if I should take it apart right off the bat here, but I do see that the heat block here, the heat break here, you can see that it's thin right there. You see that? Which means the PTFE tube does not go down all the way to the nozzle. So that's a really welcoming sight. As you guys know, I've had some issues with the S2 or S1, their other direct drive model. I've had some opinions about that design, but this looks interesting so far. I'm really digging this. I'm not going to mess with the nozzle at the moment, and I will a little bit later. I just want to get this thing printing in the live. But so far, I'm really liking the way that this looks. How cheap can you convert an original Aquila to direct drive? Completely free. You can do a printable adapter. I've actually designed one that I've tested one time, but I never actually put it up online. One of my buddies converted a bunch of his Aquilas to all direct drive with just a printable bracket, and it works perfectly fine. You don't need to do a single other thing. It's been very reliable for him, and I trust him, and I have one at my office that sits right next to me that's a direct drive convert. One of my plans actually for this next year is to do more of those type of videos. I'm gonna pause reviews. I still have some to do, and some will come in throughout the year, and I'll do a little more, but I want to do a little bit more, with my existing machines. And one of the things that I plan on doing is a free direct drive conversion for the Voxelab Aquilas. All right, that's enough looking at this thing. I actually really like this so far, so let's just go ahead and set it aside here and keep going. Normal nozzle or like the S2 nozzle? That's a good question. I don't think it's like the S2 nozzle. It looks like a normal nozzle. And you know what? Instead of waiting, why don't we just settle it, right? Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be cold, but let me get some tools here and see if we can get that undone. Because I think for science, it's worth it. All right. Let me do this right instead of rushing it and breaking it. Now, I have had this question before. No, Voxelab does not pay me to do anything or ask me to do anything. They do send me machines to try, and mostly for feedback. They don't ask me for literally anything. So, yeah, I don't necessarily feel obligated to say anything specific, and I really do like giving them honest feedback about what I see. I think it helps everybody out. All right, the moment of truth. Look at that, and there's some filament in there actually left over from testing, which is really nice to see. We have a standard nozzle. This is a MK8 style nozzle. So there you go. Fabrizio, yeah, I will. I'm going to do a whole video on it because the one that I made needs some more testing. So I'm not going to share that one just yet. However, if you search Aquila Direct Drive, there are some on Thingiverse, and I've personally seen those used, and they work out great. You just need to move a wire out from where it normally is, and the rest is just putting up an adapter. Now, the one I'm talking about specifically, by the way, has the motor, moves it to the back, that faces the back of the machine. You want to do that one instead of the other ones because of the way the weight of that motor is. It's actually pretty heavy. So you want it to be kind of like on top of the wheels or behind it. So when you're looking for this modification, make sure you guys find the one with the motor facing the back. All right, there we go. Now, I know this was cold and it should be done hot, but I think this should be okay. Because it isn't all metal hot in here. That's really nice to see. Good job, Voxelab. All right. We've only unboxed just the hot end so far. Worth it, I think. Don't you think? This is kind of the star of the show in a way. All right. At least now we know. All right. Strangely enough, this box was open. All right. We have our standard PLA filament here. The standard red Voxelab stuff that we see in all their other machines. Let's see what we got going on. All right, we have our classic Voxelab Aquila setup here, although extra nozzles. So usually there's just one. Let's see if there's a size difference here. This one is unmarked. Yes, they have 0.6 millimeter nozzles. Voxelab, good job. Not only are there 3 nozzles in here, there's 6 millimeter nozzles. Gotta love them. The reason why I'm excited about 6 millimeter nozzles is not only are slicers nowadays much better at dealing with 0.6 millimeter nozzles, but they are slightly faster to print the normal stuff without much of a compromise. And I think 0.6 is a really good size. All right, so we got some zip ties. We have the craziest spatula. Like, these are just crazy. Let's see what else we got. We have a power cable. Let me get out the SD card. Looks like it is a branded SD card, not just blank. We have an 8 gig SD card. I'll set it right here. Don't need that. We have our absolute basic tools and I got excited about this in one of my other videos. The cutest little snips ever. I'm going to leave these out. I like them. Some basic tools, wrenches, and a needle for declogging. I like that direct drive hot end setup. Yeah, me too. It's nice. We have a filament sensor. I'm partial to these things, but they've saved me one time. Yeah, nice little bracket. Looks like this is going to be pretty easy to attach. I'll leave that out as well. All right, let's put everything else back. And just judging by this kit, it looks like our assembly is going to involve just about 6-ish or so screws. But we'll see. Probably have to install the screen, a couple other things here and there. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Sorry in advance if I'm dropping stuff everywhere. All right, we have the screen Almost looks identical to the screen on the Pro, I believe. It has some kind of TPU covers over here. Yeah, it looks like they covered up some ports with some TPU printables. Okay. No big deal. And also worth mentioning that I have had this machine for several months. Just boxed, sitting in my room. So I'm not sure if things have changed, if there's firmware. Keep that in mind just in case something might be different on your machines than this one. Ooh, I really did put too much in there. Still good though, and hot. All right, we have the filament holder, spool holder rather. Anything else that's visible? No. Okay, so it looks like the next layer is just going to be the machine. So as it typically goes, I'm going to put this box on the floor, and I'm going to pull things out of it and put it on this table. Let me see if I can lean this at you guys so you can see how it's boxed in here. Everything is zip tied. Every corner has a piece of cardboard, and look how thick that foam is. Well packaged. All right, let's set this down right over here so I can trip over it later, as I tend to. All right, pulling out the gantry here. All right. Interestingly enough, we have one stepper motor for the Z. Now, it is belted at the top, and there are dual Z lead screws, but a single motor. Interesting. Cost-cutting measure for sure, but okay, this will still work. Looks like we got bearings. Yeah, bearings top, bearings bottom. Okay. Interesting cable pass-through with a little grommet. Nice touch. Usually companies just tuck things in. I've even seen them hot glued. Nice and neat. Nice clean extrusions. Okay. Somewhat basic. We have the end switches are pretty regular, and I can't slide that yet, but we have a tensioner here, very loose, but obviously that's done like that for shipping. So first, let's see if our little snips can cut these huge zip ties on here. Oh yeah, no problem. That'll cut through your skin if you're not careful, real easy. All right. Let's see, I'm going to use the belt. Wow, that has some serious tension on it. Like, that is a lot of tension. We'll see if that changes after we install it. But yeah, that is very, very tight. Wonder if that belt will stretch a little bit or what. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. Oh yeah, super smooth. Gotta love linear rails. I kind of wish they had linear rails for the Z as well, but you know, the dual screws and belt at the top should be okay. This is nice though. That feels good. I like this bracket. Very interesting. All right, I'm gonna set it down on the floor actually so I can get the base out. Yeah, this is very nicely protected in here. Tons of foam. Wow, tons of foam. Let's see here. We got ourselves a PEI spring sheet. All right, tons of wires. Let's see if I can carefully take this out of here without rushing it too much. There we go. Looks like there's even more foam protecting this thing. Definitely nicely packaged. All right, and here is our pizza. Let's see. What do we got here? Tape holding cables. Nice and clean base. Nice to not see any gaps between here to lose your SD card. So as far as installation goes, looks like there is a little recess where the whole top of the gantry is going to sit. We're going to put in screws from the bottom, looks like. Let's see, what can we see down here? All right, we have a nice suspended fan. Nice rubber. These rubber? Okay. Oh, it looks like nice little feet that attach right to the extrusion. Good to see that the power supply is not choked out. So yeah, this is definitely a better design just right off the bat than the typical Aquila. All right, so I can see the board. Let's see what I can see. It says mainboard version 1.0.1. Can't see much else, but I do see that there's heat sinks on the stepper drivers. They are they're soldered onto the board. I don't see any adjustment there at all, so you're kind of just have that with you. Everything else looks pretty standard. All right, let's see what the front of this thing has on it. Does it have a sticker? So it doesn't have a sticker, but I saw that they are M32 boards. All right, so let's see if we can kind of unwrap this thing, because all the cords are kind of around the bed here. This is like a puzzle. Where is the end of this cable? Oh, I found it. Okay. Here we go. So tightly packaged. Here we go. All right, we have our ribbon cable. Makes it nice and easy to install. This is going to plug right into our hot end here. The bed springs are regular bed springs in terms of like they're not the stiffened kind or silicone or anything like that. Now this cable back here that's for the bed reminds me of the Pro. Nice grommet in the back there. Nice tensioner on the front, very large. Now, I was just about to move the bed and see if there's any kind of movement in the wheels, but this is another huge benefit of this machine. We have dual rails. So dual rails for the bed. Super smooth. Very nice. All right. Let's go ahead and peel some of this tape. Is there a spot for me to adjust? Yeah, okay, 115 power supply set. All right, so technically we could just start putting things together. All right, let me move everything off here so I have some more space. Also, did I not see a manual? I don't think there is a manual in the box. I bet the manual is on the SD card. Yeah, there is no manual, so not something you can like pick up in your hands right away and kind of see. So that's interesting. Yep, nice. I'm going to put this on upside down, or you know what? We'll just keep this off for now for the install, just in case. Let's get that cable out of the way. I definitely like the way the cable is managed here. We'll see where all that gets plugged into. Nice little recess. Sits nice and flat on top of there. I'd like to see full-sized SD card or USB. Yeah, that's definitely a nice suggestion. I think we would all like to see that at some point. That needle is dangerous. Yeah, it is. I usually enjoy 8mm nozzle. So I have actually never tested a 0.8mm nozzle, but I definitely enjoy 6. So I'm looking forward to trying an 8 at some point. I think one of the bigger machine, like I have a 400 by 400 Mingda, that machine would work really well with a 0.8. But at this size, a 0.8, I don't know. You'd have to talk me into it. The wires tinned or ferruled? That's a great question, and I would also enjoy knowing that. However, I think just for the sake of keeping this live, not being super long, I don't think I'm going to take it apart right now. I highly doubt that it's ferruled. Now, Voxelab, I got nothing against you, but I highly doubt it. No, there's no way I could see from here. All right, you know what? I think we're going to do it for the community. Right? Would you guys like to see that? I know partly, at least partly, one of the reasons why you enjoy this channel is because I like to dive a little deeper. So why not take a look? Let's go. It does look like it's really easy to get into. I definitely like this base, probably the best so far out of all the other Voxelab Aquila machines. What's the build size? It's 235 by 235 by 235, I think. I don't remember the actual Z height, but they did end up using the full width of the 235 bed, at least on paper. Keep in mind, it doesn't always work that way. But on paper, it's full size. Now, as far as pretty much everything on paper, this does compete with the higher end Enders, like Ender 3 S1 Pro. God, all these names are getting so confusing. So we'll see how it performs. So far, the build quality looks really nice. A lot of things are really thought out. This is the Aquila 2 years later. All right, so they are ferruled. Is Voxelab giving us everything that we're asking? Just trying to take the fan plug off here. Yeah, let's do. Let's actually use the second camera here. So as you can see, we got ferrules. Yep. Now, there's no other plugs that are available at all. So what you see is what you get. The board has spots for things like LED. I see some other, but the connectors aren't in there. So you'd have to solder in your own pin connectors, but they don't even have that at all. But that's okay. I don't think this is one of those machines where you would be doing that. Yeah, everything's grounded. The wires are fairly tidy. Things are zip tied. The power supply. Let's see what the brand is. I don't know this brand off the top of my head, but not Meanwell or anything like that. That's also okay because I don't know. I don't think the majority of even Ender machines comes with anything noteworthy there. But that is really nice to see. I'm glad you guys talked me into taking a look at that. One of the only machines that I've had on the channel for a while, that has ferrules. We'll see how long the fans last. The Aquila has always had issues with fans in one way or another. But so far, this is very nice. let's see. Is there any specific way this would like to go? Don't think so. All right. Ender style printer boards are so tiny. Yes, as they are. Yeah. What's the one I have down here that I really can't wait to find a use for it? Nope, not over here. Oh, too far away. But I have this big Tree Tech board that's just incredible. All right, 235 by 250. Really? Thanks, Michael, for answering that question. Nice to see vents in the cover. Yeah. So, unlike the popular vote there, I actually run my Aquilas without covers there. I don't ever move them. I don't mind it. I know when I will be moving them that there is no cover under there, but I keep them uncovered. At least mine that sit in the enclosure. I know this about the D1, but are you planning on getting a bamboo? I mean, I can't afford one. To be completely honest, I've never really been in a position where I have $1,000. Now, the P1P looks really nice. That's something that maybe I could spring for at some point. I would definitely, obviously, love one of those machines. I mean, they are, what everyone is talking about. And as a channel where I try to help people get into 3D printing and answer questions, obviously it'd be in my best interest to try to get one in some way. I've contacted them numerous times, but obviously I'm too small of a YouTube channel for them to just send me one. And I actually don't know too many that actually got them for free. Most people just buy them. I just can't get one right now. It's just not on the cards financially. I would love one, if that answers your question. Right now, if somebody asks me what machine to get, I tell them to look at the bamboo machines if they can afford any of them. If that's just something in your budget, spring for one of them, because it seems like that's the current move. And if you can't afford one, that's where you have a lot of options. And I obviously have kind of spent the past 2 years digging into those machines, so there's a ton to say, and this could be a contender depending on how the rest of this goes. So far, there isn't anything that I don't like, hardware wise. At least this looks really nice, so I'm just going to keep assembling it for now. Hopefully they come through for you. I'm not gonna message them anymore, if that makes sense. Like their response was very clear. They're not going to be sending one to smaller channels, and I'm okay with that. I totally understand. There's no hard feelings there, obviously, and I'm not in it to just give free machines. I just want to kind of showcase their product, and like I said, when I can afford one, I'll get one for sure. All right, so before I plug anything in, I want to get some screws in here, and it looks like the best way to do this would be to get this off to the side like this and get the screws in. So let's go ahead and do that. I actually really like those little tiny cutters. They're really sharp, by the way. Like, they will cut you. Alright, let's see if I can get a screw in from the bottom. Morning from the UK. Hey, what's going on? From England. What time is it over there, Mark? Linear rails sure going to help the print quality. I hope so. And if not necessarily print quality, because I have bone stock Aquila machines that print unbelievable, it's the consistency, right? Its wheels over time wear away just a little bit. They require adjustment. If you didn't use a machine for a while with wheels and you let it sit there, they get little bumps in them, little flat spots, until you kind of like work them out. And you do see that stuff in prints. So rails aren't so much for just quality right off the bat. They're mostly for consistency. And I think that's actually really important. All right, you know what? I'm not going to tighten them just yet. Let me see if I can do a little manual tightening. Because if I tighten one side, I don't want to misalign anything. All right, okay. I'll just use it manually. I've been really enjoying this tool by Hodo Tools. Oh, I need a bigger, expensive tool, but extremely nice. I've been doing all kinds of home stuff with it, RC stuff, drone stuff, obviously printer related stuff. It's just been awesome. All right, there we go. That's enough for right now. Let's go ahead and flip this puppy over. Did I take enough out? No, one more. 240, ooh. Like 2:40 a.m. Early bird gets the worm, right? Do they say that over there? I don't even go to sleep at 2:40 sometimes. Oh, something about the camera shaking. Because I see it says, Michael said it's this table. Yeah, so I'm on a table that has another table on top, so I can stand at it. Kind of like one of those desktops that raises and lifts. I have handles here, so I can pick it up, put it down. And it's wobbly. And the main camera, the best way for me to get this angle is to have one leg of my tripod on it. So unfortunately, for this setup, until I redo this, it has to stay that way for now. So yeah, my apologies for the shakiness. I know it's got to be annoying. So my apologies. But my plan is to take kind of a breather from reviews to redo this place a little bit, make it look a little bit better down here, make it a little bit more comfortable of a work area, kind of tidy up, remove a lot, and add more space for machines, and for showcasing machines and helping people out. One thing I love about this tool is it has these 3 settings of how hard you want it to screw, and then it also stops by itself when it feels that it's tight. And not only that, is you can actually torque it manually, which a lot of these things you can't. It's really great. Definitely a big fan. All right. As far as hardware goes, at least on the main body there, that should be that. So let's go ahead and plug in the Z here. Let's plug in this little extension cable. So this is going to be the runout sensor, it looks like. Yeah. So what does this go to? Oh, that's going to be the screen cable. Nice and tidy cable. Actually, one of the things I said about the Pro was that cable that goes to the screen is just no good. That's not something I would want to see in a machine like that. But this, so far so good. Let's go ahead and get the sensor on there. Let's see which way does it go. Does it go this way? No, why would it go this way? It would not. Oh, it sticks out forward like that. Okay. Fair play, fair play. And judging by the size of those holes, it's got to be these little fellas in this second little bag here. Let's see what size we got. Gotcha. Did I drop it? Oh, there it goes. Now, does it go that way or does it go that way? Looks like it doesn't quite matter. I'm going to put it this way. Can I spin this thing out of the way to do it? There we go. There we go. Nice and easy. Kind of rotate it. Get it out of the way. Can I do the same for this? Yep. Okay. Let's see. I've got 2 new machines coming. Need to excavate some room. Yeah, I know the feeling. Hopefully the runout sensor is better than the X2. Mine went haywire, causing the print to randomly stop every 10 to 40 minutes. I haven't had that happen myself, but I have heard of this problem. It's actually somewhat common for people to ask me for help with that problem. And most of the time, I tell them to just try to remove it. I think in the settings, you can turn it off. So yeah, that's definitely, I definitely know them to be faulty. They are a really cheap sensor. This one does look different than the X2. We'll see if it actually is internally. I think the X2 is over here. No, it actually looks the same. So we'll see. We'll see. So far, this looks like a really nice machine. Are the stepper motor drivers silent? Yeah, they're gonna be silent. I feel like that's this style machine. That's one of their biggest selling points, right? They try to make it so that you can kind of sit next to it. Definitely something I would love to see in a machine like the Bamboo, but I don't know if they can even make a machine that prints that fast, that has that much power, I guess, but is also silent. I think that might be just asking too much. Let's give them a year, maybe less. I'm also assuming Prusa is going to release something that's going to be, I don't want to say game changer, but I'm going to assume they're going to release something. All right, let's plug this in, the X and the X stop here. Everything's nicely labeled. All black cables, nice and clean. All right, let's just keep going with the bottom, I guess, and then we'll install the hot end all-in-one. Also, let's see if this loosened up a bit. Oh, okay, so it was just the fact that the bottom not being attached kind of like misaligns this cable a bit. So yeah, that's much smoother now. Okay, interesting. All right, let's see how this attaches. Are we attaching it like this? We are. Okay. And I'm gonna guess that is these 2 screws, because there aren't any instructions. Any idea on the decibel level of the fans? I have no clue. I'm going to just assume they're very similar to what we're used to from Voxelab, although, with that said, I guess I can't assume anymore, considering, well, both the things I assumed about the ferrules, and that I've been wrong about that, so I don't know. We'll find out. Now, I don't have a way to measure decibel levels, unfortunately, but I've experience with a ton of machines, so I'll tell you if they're loud compared to, I guess, what I'm used to. You know, staying organized with all this stuff while I do these live videos is definitely an interesting challenge. All right, maybe I should have plugged this in before I did that. Maybe I should have plugged that in before attaching. Okay, it's easy enough. So go upward, it does. Click, nice and easy. Everything is going very smoothly so far. Let's do some cable tensioning. Ah, I love how smooth the linear rails are. Definitely nice. All right, I'm going to reroute this cable. Actually, looks like it came out. I'm going to reroute it on the outside here because I don't want to give it a chance to get caught on the wheels. Let's see if I can do that without having this rub on anything. I guess I have to go down, don't I? Oh, okay, I can tuck it in there. All right, I see what I can do. You can kind of tuck away the access cable so it doesn't rub on the wheels. Just kind of like push it in. There we go. Don't want it near the wheel. All right, we'll have to find a flat spot on the table because it's rocking, but there's a spot on this table that's uneven. All right, what else we got? Let's plug this bad boy in up here. All right, let's do the spool holder. Is it the traditional T-nuts? It is. Smartphone app for measuring decibel level? Yeah, but here's the problem. I'm currently using my phone for this camera. So the camera that you're seeing is actually my iPhone 14 Pro that I'm using for the camera. It's way better than anything else I got. So that's going to be a problem with me trying to use an app. But yeah, that is how I would have done it. That's something I can always do, like a short video clip. It'd be kind of fun to compare a bunch of others. Maybe I do plan on doing some more projects in the near future. So maybe once I get a bunch of machines going, that would be like a fun way to kind of test them, to see noise levels of them. There it is. That's the one. Where should we put it? Should we just put it in the center? No, let's put it off to the side a bit. So my thinking about putting it off to the side is it's sturdier next to the side, but who knows? All right. That is all good so far. All right, let's move on to the hot end, shall we? Let's see how we're looking over here. Yep, everything's good. Let me sip my coffee beverage here. When this does run out, I do have a brew. I believe I had this last time. The Baltimore Blonde by Guinness. Hyper local. Good stuff. Keeping it cold. All right, let's keep moving. Just taking a look at the board and everything. Everything looks really nice. I like it. Knowing that the nozzle is a standard nozzle, knowing that there is no PTFE in the heat break. Yeah. Oh, here's another thing. Here, let me move this box so I can kind of get closer. It is a geared extruder. There we go. You guys see that? I know I'm blocking the light. There it is. Geared extruder. There is a plastic gear at one point, but the main gears are metal. Yeah, so it looks like there is a brass gear on the actual stepper here, going to a plastic gear that goes to the dual gears that actually grab your filament, and bearings on both sides. Very nice quality. I'm really enjoying the CNC machined piece that they definitely did not have to put here, with this little smooth piece that'll allow filament to flow through from different angles. That's an extra step for sure. That could have been a piece of plastic. It could have been a hole. It could have been literally a tiny piece of PTFE tube, but CNC machine little piece. It's almost as if the engineers had a separate department for that, and they had a little bit of wiggle room on what they could do. Interesting fan design as well. The fact that it pulls heat from here and dumps it through a tunnel out this way, also very interesting. All right, let's see how this installs. I'm assuming there's this just goes to this plate. Does this kind of tuck away here? Let's see how that works. So I'm kind of guessing here. You know, I see some holes. I see some holes here. How does this go on here? Because right now some plugs are in the way. Like this cable is in the way. Do I move it out the way like that? Aha! Okay, that popped right into place. So what's in the way now? So it goes like this. Okay, let me see how we attach this thing. All right, so it's just these two little bolts that are left. So it's just held on with two. I can't see. Let me rotate this. You know what I just realized? I can move the chat in the video to the other side so that it doesn't block the machine. How about that? Let's see. Chat. Head over to this side, my friends. Be careful when it comes to talking about consuming alcohol. It can get you demonetized if somebody decides to be a snitch. Yeah, that's good. But you know what? I'm being honest. So if somebody wants to snitch on me, it's the way. That's how I will learn not to do it. But I truly appreciate the warning, honestly. Thank you. You're literally looking out for my best interest, and I appreciate that, sir. SV06 seems like a good machine. Has its quirks. Yeah, I hear nothing but great things about that machine. I can't really get my hands on it at the moment. I tried. SV01 Pro was great. I did a video on that. Enjoyed the machine. The problem with the SV01 Pro, I guess, if it's a problem at all, is the Sidewinder X2 is a great machine. And they're priced really similarly. So it depends on the size of the machine that you have and what you're interested in. Wow, this thing attaches really nicely, guys and gals. Is there any more screws? No, just two, huh? And I'm assuming this gets attached in some way, shape, or form. Oh, okay. So I put them in the wrong spot. I see. I see. Nice cover, actually. It looks way better in person, I must say. The photos and videos I've seen make it look kind of cheesy, but it looks better in person. So it looks like, I don't want to turn it because I don't want to be able to see, but I'll show you when I'm done. Two screws that are diagonal hold the whole hot end on the mechanism, and then two more screws go through the cover, through the metal bracket, also into the CNC machined aluminum, which means it should button up real square every time. But yeah, so far, really enjoying the assembly of this machine. If you want to call this assembly, it's not really a part, but yeah, very nice. The shroud fits great. All right, let me see if I can show you what I mean. All right, the reason I got this is so that I can show you guys stuff like this. All right, so as you can see underneath of it, these two screws right here aligned the actual hot end to the bracket, and then on the outside here we had these two screws that go through both sets and help everything align. Looks really nice, actually, if you ask me. Digging it. The SV06 basically just a leveling issue with the gantry. Yeah, I'm just not sure. I don't have any experience with it at all. I've just seen a few photos. I haven't even watched any videos on it, honestly. I should definitely do some more research. Alright, this should be the last thing I need to plug in. It is really long, but I get it. Is there a better way to do this? Should we go through here? No, because then I won't go to the top. Alright, I guess we're doing it this way. Click. Nice. Easy. No nonsense. Absolutely no nonsense. I'm going to grab a zip tie, and I'm going to use it right here to kind of just to tidy up this wire a little bit. Ooh, so smooth. That's nice. All right, let me grab a zip tie out of the box here. Box of goodies. There we go. Basically what I'm just doing is just zip tying these three cables a little higher so that this stays a little bit more, dare I say, erect. There we go. Where's the handy dandy snippers? Pocket snips. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put everything away just to clean up a bit. Fair enough, bro. Yeah. I have an X2 with ABO, an upgraded hot end. I'm still really interested in the D1 to add to the collection. Yeah, I don't blame you there at all. Let's see if I can fix this as I go. Oh, there's more. Here we go. I have one on the machine. It's C2 Voxelab. Yeah, the C2. That's the cheaper model. You know, it's fine as long as you upgrade the board. Technically, even without any upgrades, that machine can print okay. It's just not a super high-end machine. Otherwise, fine. Maybe it goes up over the top bar first. It could, but then I don't know if it'll reach going all the way down. So I'm going to leave it like this and kind of see how it goes, and then, you know, we'll fix if we need. All right. Let's see. I think we're ready to plug this in. What do you guys think? Is it plug-in time? Now, if any of you in the chat have one of these machines, are there files on the SD card? Because I don't have a profile prepped. And it would be nice if they are on there. Okay. I kind of assumed they would have branded this, you know? All right. I have a plug handy over here. All right. Drum roll. All right, no big sparks. No fires yet. Oh, the screen's already on. Okay. Well, that took no time to power up, huh? You know how like some machines, the first power up takes a little bit? Not the D1. All right, just cleaning up a little bit so I don't have stuff everywhere like wrenches. I'll regret it if I need them, but hopefully we don't need them. All right, everything else should be automated technically. So if you're following along, very easy to put this machine together and to get it to power on. All right, let's see if I can get a view of this. Might have to just manually hold it like this. You guys gonna get nauseous with me holding this thing like this? All right, let's see if I can get this to work. Oh, actually, so I have this on a suction cup. Here's what we're gonna do. All right, that's gotta work, right? Clamp. All right, how's that? Okay. All right, let's check out what we got in the menus. So, if any of you guys have the Voxelab Aquila or any of the Aquila machines, this looks very similar. Let's go ahead and hit print. Aquila test model, radiator air nozzle. Okay. Test hook, that's good because we're probably going to be printing this as the model because it'll just be really fast. Wind nozzle, fun. Is there any more? No. Nice to see files on here. Let's go to control. We got moving the axis. Okay. Whoever was asking if this was silent, dead silent. Let's see if we can remove this beeper. Whoops. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I hit home. Fantastic. Looks like it is going to be leveling the machine for us. I didn't even get a chance to do a manual leveling on it, but I ended up clicking auto home, I believe, or auto leveling, trying to think that I can scroll. You can't scroll in this menu. Oh, here we go. You can't scroll it as a clickable menu. Okay, let's see. So that's also interesting that it's letting you do this because technically I would want it to be hot. Let's see if I'm able to click preheat PLA while it's doing this. not even sure what it's actually doing. I don't remember what I clicked because I clicked out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it preheat. Looks like preheat settings are on. There we go. And here's the hot end fan. Can you guys hear that? Reset. All right, so moving, fine. Disable, fine. Auto home, that's what it did. Auto leveling, it looks like it's going to make a mesh. Z offset will set up after. Load and unload, good to see. And cool down. Let's go back. Let's go to settings. We got temperature settings. Okay, so if you want to manually adjust your presets, your temperature, settings for motion. Okay, so you can change the max speed, max acceleration, and the steps. They're set at 0 at the moment. I'm guessing this is kind of a modifier, or maybe when it's set to 0, it uses whatever is in the firmware, and then if you manually put it in, and it uses that. Nice to see. Filament detection is off. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Will an LED turn on? Probably when it's actually going. Reset configuration. Is that what you're trying to tell me, to do reset? Looks like the machine is going to be doing its thing because I clicked it earlier. So even though it's not on the screen because I hit exit, it's still doing a mesh bed leveling. Alright, so we can change length. Oh, there we go. Buzzer. Let's turn the buzzer off. There we go. Alright, nice to see actually some settings in here. The fact that I can go ahead and change the presets, the fact that I can change the steps and the acceleration. That's nice to see. Info. Aquila D1, 235, 235, 300. 300 high, huh? Z end stop came pre-installed. I just got here. There is no Z end stop because it has auto bed leveling. So it uses the sensor on the hot end itself for the Z. What's it have over the old Aquila? Dual Z rods, direct drive extruder, anything else? Linear rails. It has one chip instead of a chance to get 3 or even a chance to get the H32. It has a touch screen. What else? I guess over the original Aquila that has the sensor, although the sensor is really nothing. But really the major things are PAI, already pre-installed, and the linear rails. The linear rails are amazing. They're amazing upgrade, and they're already pre-installed for you, so you don't have to do it. As you can see right here, the bed has dual linear rails, which is really nice. And the base plate is definitely nicer than the original. It's better built. So yeah, those are the things. It's the entire hot end assembly. This entire thing is significantly improved over a Bowden setup. We'll see how the cooling does, but everything there, this is a massive improvement over any Aquila, even the S2, and the rails. So yeah, so far, nothing to complain about here, at least for me at the moment. All right, and the belted rods. So one-sided. You see, there's no motor here, but bearings belt at the top. So dual Z. There's a wire around the Z-axis screw. There is, but it's not actually. It looks like it's on it, but it's not. There's a gap. Yeah, this should probably go on the inside. That's for the sensor. I could unplug that. Here, let me set this down. And unplug that. It's not close. It's that just looked like it in the video. And you know what? I'm not even going to put it on the side because if it's on this side, it could catch on one of the wheels. So I'm going to put it back to how it was. Yeah, it's not touching. It goes around it. Plenty of room around it. Yeah, optical illusion, guys. It's all good. I can put my whole finger in there. Yeah, my whole finger fits in between the wire. See my finger? Okay, back to this. I think that is everything, though. Here's the note. So this machine is a few months old. It has the 1.0.2. I'm not sure what's out there now, to be honest with you. But so far, um, yeah, so far so good. I'm liking seeing this. I don't know why it says 0 in there, but let's see what max speed. So they're all zeroed out. I guess 0 is kind of like the whatever the default settings are. Just guessing here. I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. So it looks like our printer has done its auto leveling, and now it's going to go home. And we should be able to set the Z height. Yeah, that's home. Let's go ahead and do. Also, if I go to auto bed leveling, it's just okay. So that's here's a suggestion, Voxelab, if you're watching. Let me have one more step before this thing automatically does this, and also give me a chance to be able to cancel this, because right now at the moment this is going to do a 25 leveling point leveling again just by me clicking the menu item. So this should have taken me here and then had like an OK and then go, because I wasn't ready to do this. But here's a warning for you guys: if you click auto leveling in the menu, as soon as you click it, it does it. I'm guessing auto home is going to be the same, and I'm just going to wait to click Z offset just in case it's set up in a similar way. So yeah, I'll just let's give this thing some time to do whatever it is that it needs to do for leveling. Two 2.01, 2.02, depending on which board it has. Oh, okay. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. I did mention it earlier in the video when I took the cover off the board it has, but I'd have to look back. You might want to upgrade firmware. It's 2.02. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Now, for this particular video, I just got it out of the box. I'm just going to mimic what it would be like if you bought it at the same time as I got this machine and were to just assemble it, because I'm sure a lot of these machines are still at warehouses. So I'm not going to do an upgrade just yet. This is as if I was just like anyone else, got it out of the box, assembled it, and just going to test print. You know what? While it's doing this, since it is heated up, what do you guys think as far as filament goes? Should we use this brand new light pink for our tests, or should we do the awesome looking coyote brown? Let me know. Cycle power to restart it instead of waiting. True, but I do want it to actually be, actually have a mesh. I'm kind of worried that if I reset the power, then half the mesh will be done, and I just don't want to take that risk. I don't know what what it's going to save or what it's going to default to, so I'll just let it go. It's all good. There's other stuff to do. Off the bat, the only things I would have wanted would be dual independent Z and Z linear rails. 100% agree. Everything else looks great. Wait, what's the price? The price is $400. Right around $400. If you click the links in the description of this video, I have both the official website, so you can see what price it is and what it's currently selling on Amazon. I think it's $400. What's the white printer in the back? That is a really interesting machine. I did a live video on that. That is the Hicktop. I don't remember the numbers. It's a bunch of numbers, what the name of it is, and it's not like labeled on the front. Really interesting. All of the components in the machine are the same across, so each one of these bars has a stepper inside of it, stepper motor, and a lead screw, all of them. So there's 2 on the bottom, 2 going up, 2 across. Really interesting machine. Loud though. And wireless connectivity, that is true. Kind of surprising, to be quite honest with you. wireless would be really nice for a machine like this. But they have done wireless in their other machines, and it wasn't necessarily the best. But yeah, I agree. I think those three things that you mentioned would be really nice. Individual Zs, and Wi-Fi would be really nice. Light pink, brown PLA, so far 1 for 1. I do like the pink. I haven't tested it yet. I've obviously printed a ton with this stuff. This is my second roll of this. But I definitely do like it. So we need more votes. Light pink or brown? What do you guys think? All right, looks like it's on the tail end here of the leveling. Yeah, there's got to be a better way to do this cable. I guess it could go over the top, but I'm not sure. Yeah, like this is... I don't like that. There's got to be a different way. It's got to go around back. That's probably what it is. It probably goes through here. Dual Z motors would be on the D1 Pro. Dual Z motors and rails on the Z would be D2. They always have to leave room for an upgrade. Yeah, I mean, they always cut costs somewhere, for sure. Why not just make an ultimate premium machine and let people pay for it? You know? So, Dark, come on. Bruh. Are you going to print a benchy? I would love to, but I think I'm going to do the hook just to keep this somewhat short. And then I'm going to continue printing with the machine, and I'll do more of a evaluation on how it prints later. Pink would stand out more, but we got, what, 4 or 5 for brown? 5 for brown? 5 for pink, right? 4 pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brown. I think Elegoo got the message with the Neptune 3 line. I'm waiting on the Max. Yeah. I agree. The Neptune line looks really good. That's actually another manufacturer that I can't seem to get through to send me a review machine. And I don't necessarily just want to bite the bullet to buy some of them, to be honest with you. But they do look nice. And I watch Uncle Jesse's videos, and he loves those machines. For now, I've just been trying to, get my hands on as many as I can, just to wrap my mind around what manufacturers are currently doing. I know a lot of people tend to get into one brand and kind of just really, root for them. It makes sense to do that. I've had my hands on 35 machines so far from different manufacturers. It's just nice to be able to see what everyone is doing and why, and I think it gives me a slightly better idea on what to recommend depending on what people want. At least that's my personal goal. But so far, technically speaking, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. The menus, the fact that I can adjust these steps and acceleration if I wanted to here on the front is nice. I would like to see PID tuning. Why not, right? I did see unload and load filament right there, so that makes it easy, even though this looks really easy to do at the top here. We'll see how it actually prints, right? All right, I'm going to make the call. I'm going to do pink. I've printed with brown before, haven't ever printed with this. Plenty of people are interested in the pink. I appreciate the vote, everybody. Let's go ahead and pop this one open. For under $300, what would you recommend? Easy, the Sidewinder X2, Artillery Sidewinder X2. Watch my video on that. I recently did it. I think the discount code still works, and they have sales on them all the time. That machine, even with its one compromise that it has, I feel like every one of these machines has one compromise. I think it's a good one. The amount of printer you get on the Sidewinder X2 is a lot, and I believe it's around $260-ish. All right, so it looks like we are done yet again. Now, there's no message on the screen that it's done, Voxelab, that would be nice. You know, it's all about the user experience, right? So far, I got rushed to auto leveling, and I wasn't sure if it's done or not. It'd be nice to see that, even though I managed to leave. Like I should be on that menu right now, and I should be able to hit go instead of just going through the menu and clicking it by accident. So, little tiny tweaks here. Firmware is always a challenge. But yeah, I would like to see that. All right, let's hit Z offset and see what it does. What is this little sweeper button? Check this out. I don't even know if I should click that or not. Let's see how it moves here. Is it actually moving? Can I hold it? No. It is moving extremely slowly, as it should. Let's go ahead and get it down there. I'm gonna eyeball it. Let's see if I'm good at it or not. I'm gonna say no, a little bit lower. I'm gonna say 295 is good for me. Let's see if I can get you guys under there. Look at that, I'm eyeballing it. That looks like a piece of paper to me. All right, what do you guys think about this button? Ding Chow says, I would say SV06. Now, like I said, I don't have experience firsthand, but I have heard that printer being great for the price. But I can't say because I don't have any experience with it. I haven't even seen anything really on it, to be honest with you. So I can't recommend it. In my personal experience, I'm loving the Artillery X2 Sidewinder, and I kept it and got rid of another machine. So that should at least have some kind of weight to it. Wish the X2 was around before I bought my longer LK5. I really like the longer LK5. The LK5 Pro. I don't know if you have the regular one or the Pro. I actually really like that machine. Nice and simple. No nonsense. I hope you picked pink. Yeah, I picked pink. I opened it. All right, let's see. I'm going to, since there's no other button, I'm clicking this. It went to 0. Is that like a reset? I guess that would make sense for a sweep icon, right? Yeah, that's what that is. If you click this, it resets. Voxelab, that's confusing. There's no save button. You kind of want it to be, right? Like, you want there to be one. Oops, I'm going way deep. That's what happens when you look somewhere else. All right, 295. We're keeping it here. Right there. So I'm going to click back. There we go. Looks like we've done that. So let's go home. I'm going to heat it, and then we're going to put filament in it because it looks like it cooled down. All right, here, let me go back over here. We'll set up the camera at some point. What's the build size? I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 300. 300 by 300 by tall by 400. It's huge. I have a video of me printing some massive things on it. So definitely check that out if you're interested in it at all. I have several. I have some shorts on it and some regular videos. Got to run. All right. Tabletop biker. Those are all things that I'm interested in. Have a good one. Is there a manual leveling option available? No, there is not. I did not see one. And there are springs on this machine. So you would have to do that really manually. Like, set the Z, then disable steppers, and then move it manually. That's how I would do it. But I'm not going to. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this in the same way that someone else would if they just got this machine and they just wanted to print right away. This is a really nice color. I do have some color lights here. It's hard to see, but that is light pink. No question about it. All right, I was supposed to heat this. Preheat PLA. Pro, still single X-axis. Mine can't technically be called a longer anymore. Fistech Spider, nice. Dual Z upgrade, yeah, mine was a single Z as well, which was fine for it technically. Micro Swiss, nice. I had an upgrade itch. Who doesn't, right? And like, you know, that printer is easy to upgrade and fun to upgrade. And you have the size. It was economical in terms of price. I enjoyed it for what it was. All right. Okay, this seems to be a nice little fit here. The filament goes into it real easy. All right, let's see. Are we going to put this on the outside? Yeah, I'm going to put it on the outside of this. And you know what? I'm going to wait a second. When this thing heats up, I'll do the auto load. And we will use that. I'll also get some tweezers to get stuff out. Now, this thing is kind of bulky from the front. Like, let me get this camera. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're seeing. But when you go to the side here, everything is really easy to see. So looking from the side is good, but otherwise, kind of big and bulky. Go ahead and move this camera a little bit so that I can put it somewhere for us to monitor this print. Looks like salmon. No, super pink. It's because of the color lights in here. There's a big blue light off to the side here, like a giant LED blue lamp. So that kind of changes the color a bit. Yeah, Sidewinder X2, 300 by 300, 400. It's great. I enjoy it. My dashboard is different. It is all open and all wires showing. I'm not sure what you mean. Is it quiet? Well, so far, you know, I have headphones in. If I take it out, it'll pause everything, so I'm not going to do that. But I can clearly hear the fans in typical Aquila fashion. The movements are totally silent, so you can't hear it moving, but the fans are Aquila fans. I can hear them through here, through music playing. I added bow-driven dual Z screws to my Aquila, and it works great. Nice. I really don't think you need a second stepper motor. Don't worry about it. You know, it's arguable because there's ways to do, depending on which drivers are on the machine, you can do sensorless homing on both sides. The BQ does that. It's really nice. But yeah, you definitely don't need that. Once you have a belt on there, yeah, there should be plenty for it. The only thing is, the rails would have been really nice. I mean, the cost would go up, right? To have 2 more rails added, they would go up. So the important ones are these 2. The Z isn't moving anywhere, right? In the long run it is, but these are the ones that are moving. So the important ones are there. Is this a new Aquila? Rick, yes. It is the Aquila D1. It is the newest Aquila, and so far, in my personal opinion, the best one. This is the Aquila. All right, we're nice and hot. Let's go ahead and hit load and see how it does loading. Oh, look at that. Okay, I got to show you. There's an entire custom graphic for this. Extruder heating, it's going to 235. Please insert the filament into the filament feeding roller as shown in the figure. Well, okay. Let's see if I can get it on the screen here. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I think it's in the feeding roller. Let's insert the filament into the feeding roller as shown in the figure. I think I need to cut this a little bit better. Okay, it's moving for some reason. What's it doing? I guess it has its own little procedure that it does? I've never seen that happen. Oh, it says extruder heating completed. Loading. Oh. Okay, yeah, it is loading. Neat. So it moved out of the way so that it can purge, you know, over the side instead of on the bed. Probably a good thing. If I had it like really close to the bed, for example. It is the dash and setup panel, a sheet of metal to hold the screen. Oh, yeah, you mean the whole printer, the C2, right? The Aquila C2, yeah. Yeah, it is a direct replica, or a really close replica of the original Ender 3. So yeah, it has like a panel over here, metal panel with a really basic screen. Yeah. I could think the cable is going to get in the way. I mean, however I routed this cable is not correct. I think it has to go in the back. But we're going to have to heat all over again. Look at that extrusion. Nice. Still going. So I'm going to hit cancel. There we go. Complete. Let's put away. All right. It looks like the the heating stopped. I would have loved it to not cool the bed down. All right, while that's happening, let's go back. Let's go to print. So we have the Aquila test model. I don't remember what that is. Oh, it's that little, it's the model with the cone, that little thing. Radiator, air nozzle, wind nozzle. I'm not going to do test hook. How about this? I'll leave it to you. It's 10:40 already. No, actually, I'm not going to leave it to you. It's already 10:40. So we've been going since 9. So I'm going to do the test hook as just, will this thing print out of the box? Obviously, it's not going to be an extravagant, crazy model. We'll print the hook, and then we'll call it for, the unboxing, assembly, initial evaluation, and then if you guys are interested in this machine further, I'll do more videos. So far, I'm interested in the machine. I do think that this is the best Aquila that they have made, at least so far, without printing, just hardware-wise. We'll see what happens with the price, and we'll see what happens with this cable. Is that a bigger build plate? It's not physically, but due to this hot end being where it is, it can now use 235 by 235 instead of being constrained within 235 being 220. So physically, it's the same, but now it can use all of it. All right, let's do test hook. All right, looks like our Z height is on there. Let's see how this reacts. So we did a leveling, we did a mesh, then we did the Z. That is the correct order of events. So let's see what we get. And I can prop this thing up so that I can get you guys an angle. This might be too much, but let's see. It needs to go lower. My guess on the Z was wrong. needs to be somewhere here. There we go. I don't think I had enough time to react, but it looks like negative 3.45 is where it should have been. Let's see if this causes any kind of issues with the bottom layer, because I didn't do it in time. Looking smooth. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. Well, at least that was my hope with this camera. I need it just a hair taller. Let's see if I can grab something. How about this? This looks like it would be perfect. Even a little taller, huh? Okay. A little bit taller, huh? All right, this box. Okay, that looks great. It really does. Wonder if there is even a better way to get you guys in. How crazy you want me to get? I mean, that's going to be an issue. I mean, I could mount it to the head, to the front there. All right, we will leave it right here for now, and I will manually give you guys closer looks as we need. But it won't get in the way right here. That is looking like a really, really clean first layer. Very nice. All right, let's let it do its thing a little bit more. And I will definitely figure out the more I do these, the camera setups, all that stuff. This is my first time with a second camera. In fact, I had a different camera that I was going to use, a newer Brio Logitech webcam that I have at work, and I forgot it. So I've actually pulled this off of my custom machine that's no longer in service to use for this video. So better than nothing. I have that same problem, and I end up trying to peel that first layer off just like that. Yeah, I mean, so what I typically do is I remember this number, and then I cancel the print and start it up again. I just don't want to wait for this, because we're doing it live. If that was for me, I would have set it up like that, cancel the print, start it over, because then I would know the exact number. Cheers. No, it looks good. It's more than fine. It looks really good. Very smooth. Mr. Green Elite, also finally getting my extruder, my extender Aquila finished, up in the process of printing cable chains and stuff. That's awesome, man. It's been a while. I remember you knocking that thing over when we did your live show. Yeah, mine is still over there in printer prison. It's been there for a very long time. It has a thick layer of dust on it, and it is completely surrounded by printer modifications, just begging for its attention. I'm delaying it for a reason, because I think there are some really cool potential mods for it that aren't so obvious. So I'm gonna take my time with that. I'm gonna keep my word in making it the ultimate Aquila. and it will be. Right now, the extender kit has been awesome, and all my custom work with it, I've also really enjoyed doing. Um, I had someone help me, Volvo. What was the name? I can't remember off the top of my head. So sorry, Volvo. You did so much good work. He made this enclosure um, for the board that was better than mine, um, and he did a lot of work for it. And if I keep that same board, I'm gonna use his case. But yeah, a lot of work. I'm glad you're working on it, and it's gonna push me to do mine. Which slicer would you recommend for this machine so far? Depending on your experience, if you're brand new to printing, go ahead and jump into Voxel Maker. I know not everyone wants to hear that, but it's actually a really good super beginner slicer. Once you want to tweak a bunch of your own settings, I would suggest Cura. Um, that's just a personal preference. A lot of people say Prusa slicer they like. My mind hates Prusa slicer because of just UX, graphic design background. I can't deal with it. And I know they're going to make changes to make it better. I trust them to, because Prusa has a lot of great people on their team. Not knocking that slicer at all. Nothing but respect for it. My personal preference is Cura. But like I said, if you're brand new to 3D printing, Voxel Maker. I've had some amazing prints from Voxel Maker. Just baseline, select the printer from the drop down, and hit print. So, also yesterday, I not only found out, but also tried the Bamboo Studio slicer. Now they have an Ender 3 profile that you can tweak. So if you're feeling fancy, check that out as well. So my suggestion, to answer your question directly, if you're a beginner, use Voxel Maker. If you want to make your own profiles and do tweaks, use Cura. And if you're feeling froggy, jump into the Bamboo slicer. Oh, please send me the file for the board. Yeah, man. Send me a message later on Discord, and I'll let you know. I got the Creality Spider Hada, nice. They released 2 versions. They did. Ticked me off. That fair. $400. Would you have a Mod Alex firmware at the 300 and print CF? Time for an upgrade. I don't know yet, but I have a feeling, because this is an because this is an N32 board, I have a feeling you could throw Alex's on here. Now, the touchscreen is going to be interesting. I don't know how that's going to play a role. But maybe you could do gyres, because the Ender machines are touchscreen. I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to mess with. What has drawn you so much to the Aquila family of printers? That's a really good question. Very initially, 2 years ago, my first machine was an Ender 3, just like many other people machines. The original Ender, the super loud one, super slow, super cheap. And when I saw the Voxelab Aquila, it was the price, right? The price was so cheap, and I was looking for something a little bit more than my printer. And I wanted to, because I was printing my own files, selling prints at that point. I needed a second machine, and I just kind of bit the bullet on a brand I didn't know, and I was so surprised by what I got for the money at the time. Now, even now, if you get a base Aquila, that thing is so capable. People like to knock it because there's so many new cool machines out there with trinkets. But as a basic machine, that thing was great. It had a silent board instead of a super loud board. It was super modifiable. I could do anything I wanted. And at the time, my machine looked like a green monster. I mean, it had so many modifications on it, a lot of which I designed myself. I was just addicted to that. And Aquila was an Ender for cheaper that had more stock. So that's what drew me to it. It was the price, the performance. And as soon as from the first print, the fact that I didn't have to calibrate anything, it printed perfect prints, I was so impressed. I had to make videos on it. Like, that's what I felt like I should do, is share the fact that this machine is so cool for barely any money. And that's what started my channel. It's just I thought it was great. And yeah, since then I've had every Voxelab machine that they have put out. I gave my original Aquila an upgrade with all metal hot end and stainless steel nozzle, and printing TPU with almost zero stringing at 212. Yeah, Rick Morty. A lot of people have that experience. They're solid. If you know what you have, and you don't compare it to a machine that's $1,000 or that's a commercial machine, it's a decent machine. You just have to know what you have. Your expectations have to be at the price of what you paid, right? But the fact that you can make so much cool stuff at such a low cost, there's something to that. And you know, there's always two ways to skin a cat. God, I hate saying that saying. I hate that saying. So yeah, without direct drive, right? Direct drive has its downsides. The downsides aren't that bad anymore. They used to be. Now the dual Z is a thing, and then just, you know, you can have linear rails. It doesn't matter nearly as much. But Bowden is just fine. Also, let's take a look at how this is going. I can see that it's using the honeycomb pattern. Actually, it looks like this camera is a little bit blown out. I wonder if I could change that. I think there's an app called Logitune. Yeah, there is. Here, let me try to adjust the exposure a little bit. There we go. Nope, still burned. Still, it's a contrast. No, don't touch that. Let's do auto white balance. Nope, auto exposure. Here we go. Can I click it instead? I guess it's just I do have a lot of light on in this room, like a lot. Well, one of the reasons why I brought this specific camera is I took this thing apart and have it manually focused really close. So it's actually really good at getting close shots. But, I mean, you guys tell me, but that's a good looking print so far. And, you know, we'll get a really close look when it's done and I pull it off of there. That is looking good so far. Also, can I manually focus this? I mean, no, I can't. Okay, so, yeah, like I said, it's not that good at being far away. This thing's really good at being close. And I can zoom. Oh, yeah. Look at that blowing out picture right there. So let's see. Zoom. We'll get this. We'll get it, right? Is that better or worse? Oh, let's leave it right there for now. I can always come back to this and tweak it more if we need. I want to start printing on shirts. I don't have experience with that, but I've seen some people do some cool shirt stuff with 3D printing. Definitely worth a try, right? With TPU. My Aquila has paid for itself many times over. Yeah, mine too as well. I think that's really fun about this hobby is the machine itself. The biggest compliment I can make for it is the original Aquila prints well enough for you to be able to sell the print. You got to think about that, right? Then it's basically in the arms of the beholder, hands of the beholder. Well, I have the first Aquila, and I got a mod Alex. Wouldn't have to on the D1A. So as far as I understand, this goes up to 300C. It has an all metal hot end. I mean, getting Alex's would mean way more features. But this has load, it has unload. It does have the ability to change steps, even though I don't see a reason to. I don't think you would here. The rest you would do in your slicer. So, Ray, if you're watching this, I know you mentioned some things that you didn't like about the firmware. Maybe I have something updated, more updated than yours, or less updated. But so far, everything in my settings is okay. I would like to see PID. Maybe a dark mode would be nice instead of the super bright white, you know. Otherwise, okay so far. I think that's why so many printers end up as dust collectors. What do you mean? Did I miss something? Noobs need to be willing to learn. It's not crazy hard, but there's some rules and tricks. So yeah, it's 100% the user. Like, I don't want to be, a total D about it, but so many people give up instantaneously at the first problem. These machines are very inexpensive, and they're machines. And some people expect them to be almost industrial level. They're gonna run into little quirky problems that happen in really inexpensive, fast Chinese manufacturing. And if you have the mindset that you can quickly fix something, change a nozzle here and there, fix a wire, just do some little things here by yourself, I think you could really enable yourself to really enjoy the hobby. Like, some of those things are minor, and people freak out and go crazy and return the machines and even get angry at them. I mean, obviously you paid money, and I know not everyone has a bunch of money to spend on these things, so I understand that. But I think a lot of 3D printing is mindset. I think if you want to get into this hobby, it's not going to be like a paper printer where you just hit print over and over again and everything's good to go. You're going to have to learn to tweak some things yourself and take matters into your own hands to some degree. Now, if you have a lot more money, like $1,000 plus, you don't have to deal with some of those things because of warranties and bigger brands. But then you're paying over $1,000. Does this have a built-in BL Touch? It is not a touch sensor. It is one of those captive sensors, like a laser sensor. I don't remember what they're called off the top of my head. One of those bigger square ones. But yeah, it has auto bed leveling, so you don't have to do anything. In fact, I didn't touch a single knob on this. Just hitting go like someone would if they bought this thing on Amazon. Do you have an X2 Cura profile on your channel? Oh yeah. Any of my videos down below should have profile links. If you don't, if you go to my Discord channel, I've broken those down for every machine that I've dealt with. All of my profiles are there. Discord, the 3D Print SOS Discord is probably the best place to get any of the resources for anything there. And in fact, you can ask questions and share your prints and stuff. Check that out for sure. But yeah, I have all my Aquila profiles work with the X2. And yeah, you can use Ender profiles. I actually tell people not to do that, although you're more than welcome to. It'll totally work. But you can't import custom profiles from other machines if you select it as an Ender. It'll give you an error in Cura. If you make it a custom machine, like I have videos on, you're able to use other people's custom profiles. True, you'll have to do another fire risk. True, yeah. You're the one that got me into Alex's for that reason. Yeah, so Voxelab fixed that problem themselves as well. But while they were fixing that, Alex's was available. So yeah, at that particular moment in time, it was definitely best to go Alex's. But that firmware is also better. It's custom. You can do whatever you want. Everything's at your fingertips if you want that. But yeah, right now, any of the more updated, modern firmware on any Voxelab across all of them, any machine, it has those fixes implemented. Believe me, they're going to be very careful about that now. Everything has a learning curve, yeah, and 3D printing. I mean, these are machines. You got to learn. Hey, so you might be the only person that can answer my question about Octoprint. When I print from my computer, it disconnects after an hour into the print. Thoughts? Yeah, so don't have your computer go to sleep. If it's a Windows machine, I'm not sure because I don't really deal with Windows and Octoprint. But if something is going to sleep and it messes that connection up, the connection has to stay up. So if it's a laptop, you can't close it, for example, or have it literally go to sleep. It's one of those power saver settings. Um, Definitely check that first. That's an incredibly quiet printer. Oh yeah, I mean I can hear the fans. I'm sure you guys can hear the fans. They're just blowing, but yeah, you can't hear the movement of the prints at all. And actually, it looks like we're doing the top layer now. Looks good. I can see on the bottom when I pulled that very initial extra bit of filament, I kind of removed some of the outside. I can see that, but it's not peeling. It's looking good. Also, I just realized I didn't even clean the PEI with alcohol, which is the first thing I should have done. I just got excited, didn't do it. Power saving, yeah, somewhere in there. Is the Aquila Cura profile you created also applicable for the X2? Yes, the X2 is almost identical um, in almost every way. So yeah, it'll work. All of my profiles for that, for any Aquila, will work with the X2. She seems to run pretty smooth. Yeah, Jessica, I'm loving it so far. The price, that's up to you guys to decide if it's correct or not. Um, but if setting that aside, just the build quality, it has a lot more design to it. They thought about a lot of this stuff. And obviously, this is still an Ender clone. Okay, when you squint, this is an Ender. But it has its own parts everywhere. So they're kind of taking the platform and making it the best they can. I got to give it to Voxelab. In these 2 years, they've taken the machine and they've given us really basic ones. They've given us closed source custom machines that they thought would work really well, like the Pro. They've given us, things like the S2, which is what we asked for technically, except that little hot end kind of was a gotcha, right? They kind of added their own little design twist in there. But this machine, at least on paper, has everything that we've been asking for from an Aquila. So if you've had it for a year, if you've had it for 2 years, and you've been on this channel, you guys know that this is the stuff we've asked for. Um, Obviously, we always want more, right? We always want more. Well, yeah, I'm digging it. Can't wait till mine arrives. Oh, cool. And if you have any questions when it does, let me know. Join the Discord. Would you compare it to any other machine on the market? Um, yeah, this I would directly compare it to the Enderline machines. This would be the S1 Pro. I believe this would have really similar features, and I think it's probably meant to be in direct competition with that machine. Um, some people really like Creality, some people don't. The SV01 Pro is definitely a competitor for this, although cheaper. Linear Rails kind of wins over that, right? What else has linear rails? I think that kind of puts it into its own little category, right? A little bit higher. Now, I just did some videos on the King Rune K3S Pro. Man, I can never say that title. It's a much smaller machine, but technically on paper, outside of it being a cantilever machine, pretty similar. But yeah, I would say this is the best of the Aquila. I think I've said that like 8 times now. Yeah, I would compare it to any of those machines. I think the most direct would be the Ender 3 Pro, but this has a couple more upgrades to it, but also a lot of similarities. Sergio, the filament's looking good. Filament's looking good. I'm letting it cool down before I peel it out. What are the cons? Um, let's see. What cons have I run into so far? I think the main con is the cost. I haven't. So the other ones are the firmware. So this screen, right? So outside of cost, the actual cons so far that I've run into is firmware related. In these settings, clicking the selection actually does what it says. You almost expect it because I do some UI, UX graphics work, and I've done apps in the past for years. Um, Basically, the user experience here is you see the icon. Oh gosh, now I ruined this whole thing. Let me go to auto exposure. Hold on. Here we go. Did I break this? We need brightness back. Okay. You see how this almost looks like a phone? Oh, come on. Like a phone experience where you want to click into this and there's an arrow, which means it's going to go to another menu. If I click this right now, it's just going to auto home. If I click this right now, it's just going to do its auto leveling. This type of stuff. If I go to Z offset, instead of having text or an actual button, there's an icon of a broom. It's that kind of like little disconnect where that could have been implemented better or differently. I think so far those kind of things are downsides. I think the firmware could use a little bit of love. Otherwise, physically speaking, so far, it's really early on in testing, but so far it's great. Thanks, I love that color too. Yeah, for sure. All right, still cooling down here. Setting system, power and sleep, turn. Yeah, okay, yep. Fred is helping with the Octoprint settings. Cool. Oh, looks like my my little headset here is gonna die soon at 11%. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and remove this and let it cool down like that. But yeah, so far I'm digging this machine. I kind of wish there was a full-size SD card or full-size USB. For this price, someone said this before, Wi-Fi would have been nice, just like the Pro machine, but the Pro machine was closed source. This being open is so much better. Yeah, so far so good. I'm ready to test this thing further. Let me know if there's something specific that you guys would like to see with this particular machine. Yeah, I wonder what the connectivity with Octoprint is on this machine. I'm assuming because of the board, you can just hook it up just like you normally would. It's kind of interesting that they have these connections plugged here. I bet people think that these USB and SD slots are for the printer itself, and they're not. They're for the actual display because the display has its own board and stuff. So, all right, let's see. Let's see if I can. Oh, it just came right off of there. Let's see what we got. Look at that. Here, let's get the other. Bottom's looking good. Look at that sheen on the side. Zero curling. Let's look at the top. Super clean. Obviously, this is a very basic print. There's nothing to this. Let's not keep that a secret, right? But perfect print. strong. Love the color. I mean, this is as pink of a color as you can get. Now, like I said, I have color lights in here, so you can't really tell. But yeah, guys. So as kind of my first impressions here, let me go to the next song here because it's blasting me in my ear with lyrics. As my impressions here, I like it. I like almost everything about it. So far, as it sits, without like me saying I wish this, I wish that, I wish I had some other stuff, I think that the only thing that I see as any kind of downside at all is some of the quirkiness of the firmware. Did it stop me from doing anything? No. It heated up rather quickly. I didn't touch a single knob. It did everything by itself to get us this print right away. So, you know, we've been streaming for 2 hours, right? 2 hours, 13 minutes. And in that time, we had a print. We could have had more if I was focused and not just chatting and talking. And now that that cooling fan has turned off, it's even quieter. Now it's just, you know, now you can just hear the power supply fan down there. Michael, I like the Voxelab listens to their customers. Yes, so I have obviously talked to them, right? It's not like I have crazy influence over them, but they've always listened to what I had to say to them, at least just between, like, in a conversation. They've always had respect when I gave them my opinion, and they've always asked for my opinion. I don't know how many other companies do that. For me personally, they never ask me for anything. Never asked me to do any of these videos, by the way. I've never been asked by Voxelab to do a single video. I've always just done them by myself. Whereas other companies, nonstop, are kind of pushy to, like, they want me to do stuff, but not them. So yeah, they definitely listen and respect their customers. And I'm always, you know, in the official Facebook groups. And they're always just, you know, a part of the community, which is nice. Really, really nice. Aquila never disappoints. Well, Jessica, sometimes, in the case of the other Aquila machines. But yeah, I think so far this has to have been the smoothest, easiest, fastest from box to print Aquila by a landslide. And the fact that it's all open source, or at least on paper it's open source. The fact that I can go ahead and print at 300C if I wanted to right now on this machine without having a PTFE in there, being able to change the nozzles, even change the nozzle to a 0.6 millimeter from the box. I'm a fan. Then you've hit the end of my free tech support. So I'm trying to help someone else. Nice. Santa bought me a ton of upgrades from my original Aquila for when it first came out. I love the texture PI bed. Yeah, texture PI is a game changer. You got to have that on your machine, I feel like. Dual Z's and direct drive. All good. All those things are good, Stone. They make for a solid machine. Never disappoint with your videos, and you're always honest. Hey, you know, I try to be, Sergio, and thank you for your support. For those who don't know, Sergio is with 3D Max, another company that has truly and honestly supported me without asking anything in return ever, where other companies, like I mentioned, have. And any of that stuff that I put out there for 3D Max is on my own accord because I truly enjoy their filament. So just as a little side note, thank you, Sergio, for always being there for 3D Print SOS. I appreciate it. Thanks for the awesomeness. Got to go. Yeah, I'm getting ready to as well. You know, let me know what you guys want to see in the comments of this video, and we'll kind of move from there. But so far, I think the initial impressions are pretty high. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing in all the ways. So I think with that, guys, I'm going to have to go ahead and say goodbye. And thank you very much for joining me in this live experiment and experience. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the live streaming and hanging out. And yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. So, as always, I'll see you guys in the comments. Later.